The greatest college football coach of all time, Nick Saban, announced yesterday that he will be joining ESPN to be a co-host on College GameDay, the Saturday tradition. He's also going to help out with SEC media days, draft coverage, and things like that, probably while he's flying back and forth on his island with Professor X and Nick Fury. So what does that mean going forward? Well, the answer is obvious. Nick Saban is already the best college football analyst, quote unquote, that ESPN has or has ever had. The biggest question, and Charles Barkley talked about this last night, is what happens the first time he has to criticize a coach? What happens the first time he has to criticize Alabama or maybe another school like LSU that he's been at in the past? That's probably the biggest hump to get over. But knowing Nick Saban, he's just going to tell you straight up. The coolest part about this, and we were the first ones to be upset about David Pollack leaving ESPN, and we still are, but Nick Saban can give you an insight and a perspective that while there have been other coaches that have gone on and done a really good job as analysts on ESPN, nobody's the GOAT. And the thing about it is, Nick Saban will just tell you. Now, he won't throw anybody under the bus. He won't say anything stupid. But when it comes to the on-the-field performance, when it comes to building culture, building a program, the ever-changing landscape of NIL and the transfer portal in college sports in general, there is nobody better to bring his perspective to the table than the greatest master puppeteer that we've ever seen in the sport. So, will more people watch Game Day now? Probably. A lot of people still watch it. But with Nick Saban, it brings a totally new element that may just save it in the long run. Bringing my co-host, former Western Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. Obviously, as I mentioned, David Cohn is with his beautiful family. Welcome their third child. Blaine, the first thing, and I even put this on social media, I want to ask you what you think about Nick Saban joining ESPN. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can understand why Florida State fans, this would irk them a little bit more, because it's very hard to look at Nick Saban his last year, retiring, going to join ESPN, getting put into the playoff. And listen, I think Alabama was one of the top 4 teams in the country. I think Florida State got screwed, but two things can be true at once. Do you buy into maybe there was a little bit of forethought or that ESPN may have known something? And look, anybody that says ESPN doesn't have influence over the college football playoff and things like that, come on, let's wake up a little bit now. That's like saying that donors to political parties that run these big corporations don't have a say in anything. Let's live in the real world. Right? I don't believe that 100%, but I can understand why Florida State.
So you're telling that
they
put him in because they knew Nick Saban was going to retire.
Yes, and then go to ESPN.
No, I don't think so, because
I'm not saying they did that. I'm saying that.
No, yeah, I know. I get what you're saying, but no, I do not believe that at all. There's a lot better conspiracy theories. I think they just put him in because he is Nick Saban. Regardless of who's going to coach another year or not coach another year, they're going to put Alabama in because of Jordan Travis, and I think they were the better team. One, is this great for college football? It is. Is it great for the SEC? Is it great for everybody around? Yes. If you're an Auburn fan, this sucks. Okay? This sucks to me. Please get as far away from the sport as possible. Are you better for the sport? Yes. But somewhere in the back of my mind, it just creeps up that this is going to benefit Alabama in some way.
Well, see,
in some way.
I disagree with you there. I don't think Alabama's got the benefit of the doubt already, and they had that with Nick Saban. We'll see how long that goes without Nick Saban, and we're going to get into the Kirk Herbstreit and Georgia stuff. Seems like ESPN is decoupling from Georgia as fast as they possibly can. But I think Nick Saban's actually going to call it straight, man. I think Nick Saban, he cares too much about not being right, but giving the best information he possibly can. I don't think he's going to slant it toward one school or the other. What I am waiting to see, and again, this is what Charles Barkley was talking about last night, and I was thinking it, and I agree with him 100%. What happens the first time that Nick Saban has to criticize a coach? What happens the first time he has to criticize Alabama or LSU or a place that he's been? That is the hardest thing for guys to get over. Even when I started the J-Boy show in the back room of in Mississippi, I was in coaching for a long time. It was hard for me to criticize other coaches because you know what's going on. But at the end of the day, I'm going to always fall on the side of telling you what I think. I'm not out here, again, we say it all the time. If I want to make people happy, I'd sell ice cream and cupcakes for a living. But that's not what I'm doing. So I actually don't think it's going to be a Let's Kiss Bama's Ass festival with Nick Saban. It already is at ESPN. I don't think Nick Saban's going to go in there and add that much more to it.
I don't think it's going to be a Kiss Bama's Ass festival. I don't think it's going to be that. But I do think Nick Saban has a way of winding words together to make it sound like this is the reason it should happen. There's a reason Nick Saban was who he is. From a recruiting standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, Nick Saban can sell anything to anybody. You give Nick Saban a pen, he can sell Wolf of Wall Street style. But one thing that is good, I think Game Day needed this because Game Day sucked, in my opinion, especially after this last year. 2, Lee Corso needs to get off set. It's time for Lee to get off. I think they're going to bring.
This has got to be Lee's replacement, right?
This got to be Lee. Like sooner or later, look, and I'm a big Lee Corso guy. Like I've loved Lee throughout the years. It's something bad's going to happen on set. They got to get him off.
Well, and when you come down to Lee Corso, we want to know what y'all think. We're going to get to the Booster Club in a second. We got a packed show for you today. Hey, YouTube, what's up? Growing like a weed. Thanks to you guys. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and that way we can keep producing the content that you love to laugh at, you love to think about, and you love to hang out with.